welcome to That Next Door. This is a show where we talk about phenomenal women doing phenomenal things in our societies in the form of artistic ways. So today, I don't know if you know what graffiti is. I don't know if when you went to high school or primary, I don't know where you went to school, if there's a way you used to write your names in a beautiful way in form of art, then your name looks a little bit different than the actual name. I don't know if you ever had that. But in short, what I'm trying to say is that today we are here with a graffiti artist. She's amazing. She's phenomenal. She's beautiful. My goodness. I don't even have a bio for you. I was expecting you to look like that, but I'm overwhelmed. Anyway, guys, help me welcome CHELA. CHELA, hi.
Hi.
Habari yako?
Niko poa. Thank you for the introduction.
Alright. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I'm so amazed. You look beautiful.
Asante.
I'm even tempted to ask, do they reflect your art? But anyway, we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So this is CHELA. CHELA, she's a graffiti artist. You've seen most of her art, by the way. It's only that you've never concentrated. I'll give you one because I know all my friends know this. You see, there's this Kanini in Limuru Road. There's this joint in Limuru Road.
Kukito.
Guys, you've seen the art ya Kukito? That's her. So CHELA mambo, tell us. So tell us about you.
Alright, I'm a graffiti artist, illustrator. I can say I'm a multi-faceted artist, but I'm mostly known for graffiti. I go by the art name Chelwek. So if you see Chelwek, don't be surprised, it's my artist name, and CHELA is like my shortened government name.
Okay.
Yes. So I got into graffiti back in 2014. I was still in campus, so I was studying illustration then. And on my way to school, there was this time there was the graffiti in the street of the Mavolcha and the Unga Revolution that was happening. So I remember walking on the streets and I saw the graffiti and I was like, this is what I should be doing in my life, not painting work that will be in galleries and stuff. I want to make art that is revolutionary, art that will make people stop and look and just engage with it.
So that was 2014.
That was in 2014.
So what happened? What was happening before 2014?
Before 2014, I was a painter, just trying to find myself, trying to find my style. So I was just sketching in books. Even in high school, I remember I used to draw on myself and in books, and I got into trouble for that. So in most of my books, I used to write Chronicles of a Rebel, so that has been my tagline for a while, the Chronicles of a Rebel. Why fit into a norm, and you can be different, you can tell your own story in the way that you like. So I've been doing art ever since I was a kid, in high school also, and then that pushed me into doing illustration because I wanted to tell stories. So I wanted to do illustrations, so I can do kids' book illustrations. Yes. And then I ended up meeting graffiti artists, and I never did kids' book illustrations. I ended doing more of graffiti and street art and just art with the community. Yeah.
Okay. So we've already seen your campus life, we've already seen your high school, but we don't know the names. So where did you actually do your schooling? Is it still in Nairobi?
High school I did it in Nakuru, My Forces Academy, Lynette.
Okay.
Primary school I was in Moi Abbey's Primary, it's in Huruma. And campus I went to University of Nairobi, where they offer design, but illustration is not well known because most of the time it's 5 students or 4 students who take it.
Is it offered is it part of the for the school courses?
Yes, it is part of the
So you did a whole degree of that?
It's design, but in the year we specialize in some going into interior, fashion, product, and there's illustration.
Was that your first pick?
Yes, but I was kind of confused first because everyone was going into illustration, and there's this small rule that was there that class has to at least have 5 people.
Okay.
And so illustration, the guys were 4. So they came to ask me yo, you wanted to do illustration, what's this? So I was yo, my parents wanted me to do interior, blah blah blah. But then at some point I just went outside to think about it, and I met one of the illustrators. He's called Jeffrey, but he passed on, may he rest in peace. And I just had a sit down with him, and I asked him what does illustration entail, what it's all about, and I immediately just decided this is what I want to do because I wanted to tell stories. And for me, interior and product was a bit, and the way UN was doing it, I didn't like prefer it. There's other institutions that do it very well. Like I would have done product design, but the way UN was doing it was not.
It.
I would not be in trouble for it.
No, I hope so too. You know, it's because you reminded me when the first time when I went to college, I mean to campus now. I thought the course I would have taken was quite what I wanted, you know, the high school musical things and all that. And then my first class was mathematics. I was like, why? Why? So for you being very decisive and knowing that this is what you really wanted, so that's very cool. Yeah. Because most of us, we started transferring in high school. Did you transfer so many times?
I think
your school?
One, I think not transferring schools, but I was kicked out of business class.
Why?
I didn't used to do assignments and write notes. It was boring, and so I ended up going to the art teacher, and I was like, I want to do art. I think I might fit in this space. So she gave me a small test, which I passed, and the rest is history.
Here we are. Yeah, because me in high school, I think I transferred. It's 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I think I transferred, and every term is 3 months.
Yeah.
It's 3 terms a year. Yeah. So I transferred every term.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Psychologically, I mean, I didn't like school. I didn't like all those. So every time when I come to school, I tell my friends, simalizi term. Next time, I'm still there. So next time, so school can be a little bit weird, but I'm so happy that you actually got to do something that you really wanted, and I'm overwhelmed.
Which is more of a rebellious act.
So when you draw the art, when you do the graffiti art and all that, do people ask you what is this when you're starting? Or before we even go there, when was the first time you actually caught a spray brush, as in you? The first time.
Okay, it was back in 2014 actually. I saw the graffiti and I was impressed by it, but I didn't know where to start. I just knew the artist. So there was a workshop done by one of the artists called Uhuru, and a friend of mine invited me for it. It's called Washe. He's like, CHELA, there's a graffiti workshop at, what's the name, National Theatre. So my only condition is there going to be food? It's like, yeah, there's going to be food, just come. So I was like, okay, if there's food, I'm coming. And it was like a 4-day session where we taught how to use the can, how to create a concept and everything. And by the end of the 4 days, we created a piece that was at the National Museum for a long time. And then through that, I got to meet now the other artists who used to be at Part 254, the Sweet and Nakina Backslave. But my biggest influence was Suit Graffiti.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started back in 2014 to 2015 when I was experimenting, learning. But my very first piece, I did it under Mau Arts Collective in Jericho, and I went to the spot and I was shown like a 2-story building, and I was like, this is yours, this is Swift. So I was like, I thought we were working together. They're like, no, this is your wall. And I had one day to do something with it. So I was like, okay, so and then I asked Swift, like, do you trust me with this? Because I used to be like his drum corner and like a student at the same time. And so I got up the ladder and I did a piece. And it was just amazing to see the end result. So I was like, oh, I can actually do this. So, yeah.
And actually, I think I saw the piece as well. Because I don't know if you've seen recent stalkers. I think I'm one of them, and I saw the piece. I was like, wow, wow. But according to me, there are 2 people I normally respect a lot. So we have the producers, and then we have the artists. I mean, you're the type of people who come up with something that has never existed before. To a point of you create something, and then me, the second part, I'm like, but then this now makes sense. But when you're starting to do it, you're like, why she's using green there, should have used. And then when it's done, you're like, so I think artists and producers are like the coolest people in the world, honestly. And then us, we just jazzy your art. But I think you guys are very cool. And the same art, the one that took you to India, took you to Australia.
Yes. So I remember when I was getting into graffiti, my dream way before I got into graffiti, I just wanted to travel and do art, just go country hopping and do art. And so when I met the graffiti artist, my dream was more like aligned to, I want to do a mural in every city in Africa.
Amazing.
So
amazing, my goodness, okay.
So in 2017, during the election, so I remember I have a son, he was like 6 months old then. So I was like, I'm not going to stay in this country during this time because I don't know how it's going to end up.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to Dar es Salaam. So we went to the buses and we were asking for a bus to Dar es Salaam and they were full. So my friend was like, so we go to Kampala. So we go to the buses and there's space. So we were like, okay, let's go to Kampala. So I carried my baby and my friend and we called some artist over there and we wanted to do art because that was part of the dream, just to do art everywhere I go. So we called some artists. On getting to Uganda, they had a skating park they were starting up and they were like, yeah, we have paints, we have walls, you can come and play. So that was the first time I did in Uganda, and then they started the Africans Festival. And then they invited me again the next year. Now this one was an invite, it was like a random showing up to Kampala thing. So they invited us and the guys there really liked what we did, and that's just how I got my name going. Because from Kampala we were invited to Rwanda, and then the lady who was organizing the Sana Festival in Australia was in Kampala, and she saw what I was doing. She was like, "Did you apply?" I was like, "Yeah." And my dear had applied two times before. I was unsuccessful, but this time she saw what I was doing. She was like, "Yeah, I'll call you." And that's how I went to Australia, and then through Kampala I went to India. So it was just like.
It's just like, it's just beyond the skies, it's me closer to God sending your prayer request.
So it's just like one thing led to another and another, and yeah.
And I can tell it's been such a beautiful journey. You get to travel because of something you love.
Yes.
Most of us, I think we go to the grave with that.
I want
to travel. We don't get to do that. Not even traveling, but now traveling for something that you really like to do.
Yes.
So we're going to go on a fast break. Now we have a fast break. Then after the break, I want you to come and tell us how you're using your art now. How is it influencing young girls? I'm already influenced. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so, can I use hypnotized? I'm so in it. Because when I was checking your murals, I was like, I can actually crop, you know how you screenshot from Instagram?
Yeah.
And then now you have to go to the gallery, you crop it, and then use it as a script. Okay.
Do you know someone actually used it on their cake?
For real?
Time, yeah. So if
For
you
real?
love this piece so much, I put it on my cake.
Oh! I mean, it beats too. Like in I'll look for another one.
Yeah.
So there's so many things. I think your art is amazing. It's influential, and I just want you to tell us how you're using that to promote social change and how it has impacted your family as well. Because when it comes to artists, like now when I'm in this artistic space, I've realized something that the way you artists react with your family is not the same way you react with your audience.
Yeah.
And I just want you to tell us the difference. And we're just gonna have a good time after the break. So welcome to part 2. We're still here with the phenomenal CHELA. She's telling me stories and stories and stories of her murals, and I'm looking for a way she can at least give me at least a company present, I wouldn't mind having one of her arts, in my sitting room, in my, she's amazing. You just gotta see what she has to do and what she does. And karibu sana CHELA again. Anyway, so there's something also I picked up, and I just wanted to ask. So when you're doing your canvas, what's the best canvas that you have? What's your favorite canvas?
I can say the wall.
Oh, the wall.
The wall is my favorite canvas because as artists we get to do like on paper, on the traditional canvas, on bodies of people as body art. But for me, the wall is my favorite canvas because of one specific thing. My biggest drive was not to limit my art to gallery spaces.
Okay.
And like walls, public walls are accessible to everyone, so everyone can interact with my art anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you get permissions for that?
Yes. Most of the murals I've done are I have permits.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember one time I was painting at the Heinrich Boyle at Parklands, and it was during the time of Corona, and then this policeman came and like, "Do you have a permit?" I was like, "Yeah, I can get it." And so one person tried to con me, another person came later, was like, "Do you have a permit? It's illegal." So I was like, he tried to give me trouble, so I was like, "Let me go inside to get the permit." And then I think he saw I was serious, and he just felt embarrassed and walked away. Yeah, so I've never done the illegal stuff. Yeah.
You've never wanted to have that cut.
I want to do that, but
I think the day that you want to do it at night when nobody else is seeing, just holler me.
I want to do that when I have a bike, because I know I can't run fast enough. So, yeah.
That would be so badass. That would be amazing. So, okay. So you get permits for this, and you have to have a license for that. And so what are the challenges that you get, especially when you look for a spot? And on a place in a cartoon visually with this certain art, are there challenges that you get when you're doing the spray paints or something?
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember there's a project we were doing to teach girls graffiti, and we were looking for 5 places, 5 towns, and Nakuru was one of them. But then we went to Rongai because it's like my hometown and stuff, and everywhere we went to get walls, and like, you have to pay us, it's branding. We're like, no, we're giving you art for free and we're training. So people always think that if you're coming to do art, there's money involved, and most of the times it's just us just giving back and having fun. And one thing that I learned through all this is that in the hood, like places like Jericho and Kariobangi and Babadogo, all those places, the hood, in Eastlands, they are more welcoming to artists. So they give us spaces, they even help us like get food, give our bags. Yeah, so I said like, the properties never accepted me from hometown. And when someone recently is like, have you done anything in Rongai? I'm like, no. They refuse to give us walls. But when you go to like, there's a project we did in Kibera and Kariobangi, they're like, yeah, this place there, have fun, yeah.
You know what they normally say, that a prophet is not recognized in his hometown.
Yeah.
Till you die.
Yeah.
All right. So definitely graffiti is paying your bills.
Yes.
That's for sure.
But I do mix it up with illustrations.
Okay, so tell me about illustrations. That's what I wanted to know.
Okay, sure. So I did illustrations in UON, but I put it aside for a while, and then because I was concentrating more on graffiti. But then when Corona happened, there was not many gigs happening.
Corona was such a turning point for you.
Yeah.
Because for you it's before Corona, after Corona.
And after Corona, yeah. Yeah, because I realized, oh wait, I studied illustrations, and I can do comic books. I can do more stuff without needing to go outside or without all these restrictions. So around the same time, there's also like increasing cases in like SGBV, and there's like a lot going on at that time. And so I found myself working a lot with feminist organizations to do illustrations about the same thing, like where can people, like there's one I did about sex workers, it was in Kampala and also in Kenya, and where to get medications like ARVs, how to get help, how to report in case you've been violated or you've been abused. So I found myself doing more illustrations. So the comic books that I put aside, I wanted to do illustrations for kids' book, but I ended up doing more illustrations for activism. And so during that time, I found myself doing more illustration, more comic book, or more just informative pieces that can be shared on digital platforms.
Okay.
So I was no longer limited to the walls, but now my art can reach a wider range through social media and print media. Yeah.
Would you say like social media was like the it thing, as in social media is the one that put you out there?
I think so, I can say that. But I think in graffiti it was more people. Like people used to be like, hey, have you seen Chelele's work? Like it was more like people recommending my work.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not more social media. Social media was just a place where people could see what I've done. Yeah. But most of the gigs I got was through references.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because honestly, also, if I was to see the Kukito thing, I was like, Chema Chajiuza, unajua?
Yeah.
So I think the referrals make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And what motivates your work then? I know you're very passionate about these things like the gender violence.
Yeah.
You're passionate about making some change in this community, in the society. That's why you even empower some girls to think about graffiti.
Yeah.
But significantly, what motivates you to do this? Like every single morning you're waking up, you're like, niko na color black. But do you check the colors that you have?
I do. I have like a stock of paints, so I need to know like what do I need to refill and stuff.
You know, my nephew is actually an artist.
Yeah.
He's a very good artist.
Mm.
And I can't wait when I get home, I tell him I met this other. I think I will have to connect you too. I think you're gonna be very good bestie. So every time when I go home, he starts telling me, auntie, nataka kuangalia kama niko na stock. So I wanted to also know if you have some stock.
I do. It's
But what
important to
motivates
have
you?
that.
What motivates you though?
I'm motivated by two things,
Okay.
nature and people. And people, it's mostly women and children. So sometimes I get really angry when I like see things happening to women and children. I'm like, sometimes I say, I wish I was God. Some would not be around. But then sometimes I'm like, I cannot change everything by myself. Because someone once told me, CHELA, you're not Mother Teresa, and even Mother Teresa had the backing of the whole Catholic Church. So you start by doing your art slowly, pole, and people will just get to see the change with time. So I just decided I'll be doing illustrations to just like empower people, and I give my art for free. Sometimes we go like in Jericho, when we go to Kibera, we don't charge for art. So we just go work with the kids and then we paint with them, we give them the space better. Because I saw how art also transformed these spaces.
It does, by the way, it does.
Yeah, there's an artist called Dado. He did something in his hood, and it was like a place where people used to dump things, and then he just did graffiti, and all of a sudden they started growing skumas, and it became like a small park for kids to play. So I do believe in the transformative power of art in spaces. So people can just see like graffiti vandalism, but I see graffiti as transforming spaces. Because I usually say, instead of writing Usiko Joy Harper, I wanted to do a very beautiful piece. No one in their right mind will come and...
Exactly. And then nobody can, in a...
You can come and...
I get it. So the county government of Nairobi should be looking for you right now.
Yeah, you just need to cover the wall with beautiful art, and no one in their right mind will just come and dump trash there, or just, they'll just see like, it's beautiful.
So what motivates you when it comes to people? People can be very demotivating,
I know.
So what motivates you in people?
I've seen how people have come through for people, like we always have that ability to be good and bad, but I've seen how people choosing good have done great things for their community. Yeah. So just me being around some people and just seeing how they interact also like motivates me to be a good person and just pass that forward. Like you can choose good. You don't always have to choose the bad side.
And is it like significant that most of your paintings have like really bright colors? I noticed they have like yellow lazima, red lazima. So is it significant, or is it something you're trying to describe or explain as well?
I believe color has some effect on emotions and how people perceive a space.
True.
So it's more like color therapy, for lack of a better word. So you can go into a space and then there's this beautiful colors and patterns, and then your mood just changes. You're like, I need to take a selfie here. Then before you know it, you're sad, but now you're like, hey, happy posting, or But color has a very big effect on our emotions. That's why, like, even in interior design, the bedroom cannot be a certain color, or the kitchen has to be a certain color. Yeah, it's like a color science.
Can I have a black bedroom?
You can.
Okay, no, that's a bedroom color.
Yeah, but you can. Actually had a very dark themed sitting room, and it was nice. It just depends on the person wanting the color. But for most spaces, like if you see kids spaces, like hospitals have like blue, it's like cool. Kitchens have like red, like fire. So there's like a color theory to it. So I do try to mix a bit of both. So you come into my space, there's like you're excited, but then at the same time you're in a little chini, you just like cool down.
So I don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
And the fact that you also were thinking about to do kids illustrations, does your son really, do I say this? How do I say this?
Influence.
Oh, goodness. Yes, does your son influence that? Because now you see he's somewhere closer to you. Would it have affected, or does it even affect?
Actually, I didn't want him to do art for a while because I was like, I have struggled in this industry. But then, just music or something else, not painting. Okay. But then when he went to school, like every time the show would be like, this kid just wants to paint, doesn't want to do anything. And so at home when I'm painting, I'm giving him a small piece to paint.
Aww.
So every time people come over, he's always running to bring his paintings. So someone told me, like, why are you stopping him from doing art? Just let him paint. So recently, when I decided to do more illustrations, I wanted to do kids' books. I was like, what's the best place to start? So I'd get him to tell me stories, then I'll try and write it down and illustrate that story. I've not done it, but it's in the pipeline. Yeah, so I was like, this is the best way to involve him in my stories. Oh, and actually last year I got to do like a short crash course in animation, and he was the biggest inspiration for that whole story. So he didn't used to like to eat food like veggies, and so we were told to come up with a story. And so I was like, most kids don't like to eat vegetables. Why not? Well, let's do like an animation to try them to eat veggies. So we did something with carrots, and I had him dance in the animation, and that whole that whole animation was just inspired by him not liking vegetables. And it was actually shown in I think it was Machakos, I'm not sure, in the county. They were showing that short animation, and it was kind of cool that he inspired it. He's kind of involved, but I'm like, find your path. But
you're like, but he's gonna paint.
Yeah, like you can get involved, but also don't get lost in my world. Okay. You're free to choose whatever you want.
And is that an advice to give to every mother?
Yes, like just let the kid play and just be themselves. Because I tried to force him to music, and the teacher just was like, we were just like begging him, just play two chords, and we're like, the teacher's like, we're forcing this kid to do music.
Something he doesn't want.
Yeah, so just let him play and find himself. So he's been like football, art.
Did your parents give you that privilege?
No.
So what happened with your parents and your art? Walikata?
Yeah, I can say they still don't know the stuff I do up till now. So yeah, I can just say I just decided to follow my path and just tell my story. Yeah.
So there's no part in your life you'd say that actually your family. Remember what I was telling you about family influencing art? So there's no way you can say that family really did influence your form of art?
They did in some way. I had to rebel.
Tell us about the rebellion.
So actually, I was supposed to do interior design, but 2 weeks to graduation, I told them I didn't do interior design. I did illustration. So
you went to school for 4 years?
Yeah.
And you didn't tell them that?
No, I changed on third year. I changed and I did illustration. I chose illustration. So towards graduation, like, so we'll start looking for those for you. Blah, blah. So I told them, I didn't do interior.
Wow.
So what did you do? Illustration. Which I I told them, don't worry about that. I'll never ask you for money, but just know I didn't do interior design.
So they didn't like banish you, like you didn't do what we wanted?
Not really, but I'm like the black sheep-ish of the family. But I really don't care much, because I think it's one thing I tell people that I teach, like follow your dreams instead of show any your parents, your society. Like if this is what you believe in, follow it with all your heart, with all you got, and for sure it will pay off in one way or another. Even if it's not now, I believe like the people who like follow my journey or my child will be like, my mom followed her dreams, so I will follow my dream. Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
I have baby fevers. What do you say? Anyway, as we wind up, because now I want us to like wind up, but I want you to tell me about the African essence. I know most people know you about the African essence. Maybe you can tell us about it.
Okay. So African essence is actually inspired by people. You
Okay,
say what people
You
inspire.
gotta show me these people who are inspiring me like
No, it's
that.
just like, it doesn't have to be like a specific person. Like for me, African essence is me meeting you right now, and we have a conversation, and then you say something, and it doesn't make sense to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I might go out there, or a week later, or 1 year later, and then I'll be like, yo,
By the
she
way.
said this, and it makes sense in this point in time. So African essence is about our interactions with people and nature
Okay.
in our surrounding that is helping us in our journey of life. Like it doesn't have to make sense now, but 10 years down the line, I'll be like, yo, Sherry introduced me to this person, and this person led me to this place I am right now. So the essence is like our soul, our livelihood. Like it's our life that we are giving to other people that we interact with. And so it is happening in our African soil. So that's why it's called the African essence.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like our daily interactions with people and how they affect us in this journey of life.
So you get the interactions and then you put them in form of art.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's like a piece I did, it's
Mhm.
called Sivana. It has like 3 faces, and it just shows the balance of mind, body, and soul. And at that time I was sad, so that was like my interaction with my environment. So I did the soul bit, the center piece was like a face that was crying, and then there's like the mind and the body, and the body had like a tree
Mhm.
that's doesn't have leaves, but it's rooted. So for that it shows like as long as you're rooted in what we believe in, we shall always grow leaves. Like the leaves will come. It doesn't matter when, but the leaves will come. And around that same time I was like going through some stuff, but after I painted that piece, like things just started looking up. So it was just like an expression of what I'm going through. So right now when I look at Sivana, the piece, it does make sense now, because yes, some leaves grew, like some situations changed.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as our daily lives, like we want to be the same
Every single day.
every single day.
Actually, every single
Even
minute.
hour, yeah.
Yeah. I tell my friends, if we've made a decision to like do something, and then
Yeah.
5 minutes later you ask me and I change my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I was younger then.
Yeah.
I was like 5 minutes younger, you know. Now
Yeah.
5 minutes older. So I
Yeah.
think time is also of essence.
Yes.
But when you're doing this art, and I see with a lot of artists, like including my nephews, when you guys do a painting or an illustration or something like that, it always has a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Do you get offended if I look at your piece right now and then maybe red means the blood or and then I interpret it wrongly? Does it like why you not getting
Not
my art?
really.
For real?
Because I feel like everyone interacts with my art in a different way.
Okay.
So I have my interpretation, but like 10 other people can have different interpretations.
So you give us in your art, you give us a place for our own interpretations.
Yeah, you can get to journey into my art. So in my digital pieces, I usually like put some very tiny details, and I usually tell him like Francisco, I tell him that I put so much details, I don't think people will ever notice it.
Okay.
So it's like, no, the people who love your art will look into it and will find the details and will find the story in it. So sometimes I just put like some hidden meanings and symbols in it that whoever will get lost in it, find their interpretation and run with it, it's okay.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for giving us at least our own interpretation, because I feel art should be an add-on. This is what you had, an original piece, and then me, I think about something I added. You hadn't even thought about that, and I think that's what makes art very beautiful.
So the next time I give an explanation, I'll be like, yo, she saw this, I didn't say this, so what else can you see? So 10 years down the line, the story the painting can have like a whole.
Gonna give us another Mona Lisa, girl. You're about to give us another Mona Lisa.
Soon.
It's very soon.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't know that these diaries, I've also seen your art in oh my goodness.
The Kenya Arts diary.
Yeah. Oh, it looked very nice. I was like, wow. Oh, I want to have such a diary. Maybe I can write my future properly. Maybe no mistakes. But anyway, thank you so much for coming, CHELA.
Thank you.
And I've had an awesome time. And continue doing your art.
Awesome.
But I'm not gonna. I want to leave you. I want you to 2 questions. So the first one. If I made you if I was a maker now, if I made you like in charge of art, not just for art, just here in Africa, here in Kenya, what would you have changed in the art industry, in the illustration industry, in the digital illustration as well?
Yeah.
What would you change?
I think the biggest thing is to just give artists creative freedom and just let them play.
So what is creative? Okay, I'm here. I have everything that I need, but what is creative freedom?
Like most people have a brief. I want a woman to look like this, blah blah blah, in this setting. But if you give an artist a story,
Okay.
and you let them play, you will see amazing things. You will see things out of this box. So I can say that the creative industry should not have rules and boundaries and all those things. Just let the artists play, and from then now you can just now try and just make it work. But from play is when amazing things come from. That's why like kids are like very creative because they play. So let the artist play. That would be the.
And from your mentorship, when you're mentoring the young girls, from the mentorship, what do you think is missing in your art industry now? From not from your perspective, you went against the odds, against your parents. I don't think I can go against my mom, but you went against the odds and you got yourself here. But what happens to this girl who's like me, who's very fearful, who's I don't think I am so overwhelmed by what you did. But what would you tell somebody like me now in your art world, illustration world? It's very new because hata mimi nikiwa mzazi nitakuuliza bado utaniomba rent ukimaliza, you know. So what would you tell like this young artist?
I usually just have this one thing like follow your dreams and says show any. Ataka, it looks like scary or unachievable. Like there'll always be something that will lead to something. I can give an example of the past 2 years. Like I knew I wanted to tell stories in a digital way. So one workshop led to another, and then one workshop led to me doing the animation of kids. So as long as you have this dream and you keep working towards it, it will definitely pay off. Arakasi, like monetary wise, but the connections that you make is what is more important.
And the peace of mind.
And the peace of mind, to do what you love.
Because my boss doesn't give me peace of mind. I wish I was my own boss. I think I would have the most peaceful mind in the world.
It does require a lot of discipline.
Alright, so thank you so much, CHELA. Aki, it's been such an honor.
Thank you.
And when you're giving out your free paints, when you're giving to the society, I'm a whole society, my goodness. And even if you want to paint my wall, I'm so available. I'm not going to even give you license and all that. I'm not going to stress you. You just have to come, tell me. In short, I'm just saying I'm available. And thank you so much for also showing your art to be available to other people. Because most people, I don't know if it's or it was Wamboya was saying that most of our dreams actually, we die with them. We're not just as courageous enough, or I'm just imagining if you still went to do interior designing. Because you're not designing nyumba ya mtu.
This color, this lesson, right? But there's more to interior design than color, so they do put a lot. They do put a lot of effort into their designs, but I just feel like that would not be my line of work. Yeah,
we can't wait to see a Mona Lisa. Give us that, yo.
It will.
It will. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. That was Dada Next Door. That was CHELA. She's an illustrator. She's a painter. She's a mom. I even didn't know about that. My goodness, that must be a very lucky son. And listen to this episode. Follow her pages. Just see what she does and understand her art. But most of all, connect to whatever she said. It doesn't matter what you're doing. What's over now. Bye, guys.